What's up, everyone? This is John, the Bumbling Golfer, here with my man KenHeGolf.
What's up?
Episode number 16 here on the Bumbling Golfer podcast. We're here at the beautiful Skramble House here in Audubon, PA.
Yeah.
Right? It's Skramble House KOP for those of you who follow and me on Instagram or anywhere. And if you follow Ken, really just wanted to bring Ken on here. He and I got I guess our relationship started here, right? So
Yep.
I'm a big no new friends guy, but special people like Ken, some other people, I let those walls kind of come down. Ken and I feel like we've gotten pretty close over the last year, 2 years,
Absolutely.
I guess, right?
Yeah.
But Ken's also a member here at the Skramble House. Go check him out at KenHeGolf, KenHeGolf on
Good
Instagram
spelling, man. Good spelling.
and on YouTube.
Yeah. Just
And
started
any
my
other
YouTube.
socials?
No, just those two for now. I'm gonna really be starting to get the YouTube
Nice.
up and running. Yeah, been thinking about it a lot lately, and I think long form's definitely better for me instead of short form. And
Well, you can do short form on YouTube.
yeah, oh totally, yeah,
Tons of views.
Yeah, and actually, the shorts you can do 3-minute shorts now. So
Yeah,
for people
yeah.
like us, I equate 3 minutes to 90 seconds, and every time I hear 90 seconds, it's like a 9 and 90. You know what I mean? Like you do it too.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that you didn't really mention is another reason why we're connected is because we both like to make content.
Sure.
And that was originally how I sort of saw you online doing things that I wanted to do, and I was inspired by it, and I reached out.
So let me ask you a question. When you go out, do you have people come up to you and say, "Hey, are you KenHeGolf? Are you this or you that?"
No, I haven't had that at all.
So it's wild. It's a wild experience.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had it very often.
Yeah.
But I've had it. And
That's crazy.
Shout out to Anthony Durso. He and I played at Jeffersonville a few weeks ago. We're on hole number 1. We're walking, and some guy goes, "Hey, are you the Bumbling Golfer?" I was like, "Yeah."
That's so awesome.
And he just laughed. I get a kick out of it. And the dude's like, "Oh, I want to get a picture later." I said, "Just grab your phone." So he came over. We took a picture.
So you have a really good local presence, for sure. I definitely don't think that I have as much of a local presence, but you also have been to a couple of local golf events, and I've never been to a golf event, ever. And
we're going to do it.
I'm excited this
Hold
year.
that a little closer like that.
I'll hold it
There
a
you
little
go.
closer like that.
Sounds better, right?
Totally.
Okay.
Totally. I'm almost afraid to hold it too close,
you're
but
good.
it sounds really good. And
You can
crisp
get
like
right
this.
on it. Like, you get right
I
on.
won't kiss it, but yeah.
Ricky
we'll get
Bobby
it. Yeah, no, I really want to go to the PGA show this year.
Okay.
Because I work with a company called Lombardi, and they're going to be going there this year. They have a lot of new models that they're releasing, and I think it would be awesome to connect with more people in the community. And also, there's a couple of Instagram communities, too, with people who we know, and that's another set of people who we've been able to connect with. But it's been great just being able to connect with other people who are like-minded, who want to make content, and being able to bounce ideas off of each other and build that way too has been really special.
Well, I mean, I think that's kind of I think I've gotten a lot out of those groups as well, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So Ken and I are also ambassadors for Acorn Hills Clothing.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Nate and the entire Acorn Hills Nation.
Yep.
By the way, I just ordered 3 things. I ordered a winter hat, right, to protect the head from frostbite.
Yep.
I got the new quilted Q-zip.
That looks so good.
It looks amazing.
So
it looks
good.
like a blanket, right?
Yeah.
And then he has a black Q-zip on there now too. So
Really?
I just ordered that.
Honestly, I'll probably get something similar.
Yeah.
You know, the only reason why I didn't wear my blue Q-zip is because I was afraid you
thought
might
I
be
was gonna
wearing
wear
it.
mine?
Yeah. We've done that before. Here, I think.
I wear mine. I mean, I wear my Acorn Hill stuff for every time I have to go into like the office for work or anything like that. And people are like, "Oh, where's Acorn Hills?" I was like, it's. And I give them the whole story. So shout out Acorn Hills. Check out a link in the description below, and you'll see it on the screen as well. You can go ahead on there and use code BUMBLE15 for 15% off your entire order.
Yeah, take 15% off your entire order. And the other thing is that it's not just golf polos. It's a lifestyle brand too.
Yeah.
So shout out Nate. He's doing something special, and every single item of clothing that you order comes with a tag where you can plant it. And
you could literally throw it in your garden and it'll grow.
Yeah. And then 15 years later, you're like, what the heck?
Yeah, right.
And you're like, oh, wow, it was a tag.
So Ken, again, you and I, we, technically speaking, we create content, right?
Yeah, totally.
I hate that word.
Me
it's
too.
just something that I don't like.
Yeah.
But I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not like an Instagram. I always tell people I'm just a dude who likes to play golf, and I record it, right?
Yep.
But the reason I told you, the reason I started my other podcast, the Bumbling Yeti, go check that out. is so like my kids and my grandkids, great grandkids, all that other kind of stuff,
totally.
and like people down the road can see like what I was interested in, what I sound like, what I look like, what my mannerisms are.
Absolutely.
And they're gonna be like, dude, this guy was awesome. Like I can't believe I'm so awesome too.
Yeah, and I mean, when you told me that, it really changed my perspective on making content. So, like, one of the first reasons, I come from a skating background, and from
dude's a savage, by the way.
From skating, one of the reasons, like, the ways that I would post content would be I'd find something challenging for me to do, like a trick, and then I'd work really hard to do that trick. And when I first started making golf content, it was similar, where I try to find a trick shot or some sort of unique thing. One of my first ones that I did here that I loved was there were two balls. One was really far away and one was shorter. And I hit the long putt with like a dribbling pace, and then I had to run over and hit the short putt.
I remember that one.
Yeah, but just being able to express my creativity that way. And I think that when people create content for longer and longer, and they see things that may get views or comments, then they start to try to change everything they do to fit that, instead of just being genuinely creative. And when you told me about how you view creating content as something that will last, it made me realize that that's totally going to be my approach to in 2025, and why I want to take longer form seriously, because it's more of a documentary style thing.
Exactly.
It's not
it
as
tells
quick fire.
It tells a story, and it tells your journey, right? So like, I mean, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like, I go back and I look at my YouTube videos. My first YouTube video I ever did was me at Linfield National, but I was indoors playing.
No way.
So that's like crazy. I had this really crazy setup. It was like, just like, it was so basic. It was, I guess it was kind of, it was this camera I'm using right now, which is a DJI Osmo. And I originally got this for my boat when I had my boat, because I wanted to create like all this boat stuff. I wanted to go from like Miami. I want to take my boat to Miami and go to the Bahamas for like the week.
Wow, that would have been awesome.
It would have been, and maybe I'll do that again at some point.
Never know.
But for me, the reason that I went out and I did it was because I was interested in watching it on YouTube myself, right? I'm a YouTube watcher.
Same.
I don't watch regular TV. I don't watch.
Me neither.
I watch Netflix. I basically watch YouTube. That's pretty much it. So but yeah, like from my perspective, and shout out to the Professor Ryan, who told me about shorts. Like, he has like almost 10,000 followers now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and awesome. He just goes out and does what he wants to do. He does it in his way. He blasts stuff out there.
Yeah, and that's, some people are really good with just quick fire content. I think when it comes down to it, like, a tip I would definitely say is find a format that you can consistently post. And everyone's trying to find that secret sauce for themselves, whatever that piece of content is. So you shouldn't be afraid to try things, but also don't get caught up if something works, like that's the only thing you create, because you can get pigeonholed, and then that's what you're known for, instead of being yourself.
So you mentioned that, right? So my videos are basically me just playing golf, right?
Yep.
I add shot tracers to it. I add a little bit of graphics,
love the addition of the shot tracers.
But it's
videos
just me playing golf, right?
Yep.
And I tried to do something out of my I tried to do something a little bit more than even what I like. And I tried to go after like a golf like TV show format, like, hey, this is the Bumbling Golfer. I'm here at such and such. I did that at Shawnee, right?
I was literally just going to say that you did that at Shawnee,
and it felt super uncomfortable and
that's
unauthentic.
The best thing ever. I love feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah, but it didn't feel authentic either, right? So I'm talking, and I was like, I feel like a tool. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a TV person. I'm not trying to do this overly produced thing. I'm like outside of like I love documentary style where it's just raw. It's just like, here it is. It's not like, I feel like there's no acting or anything like that. And I felt like I was acting there.
Yeah, and you kind of have to, because at the end of the day, when you're doing that, you're promoting something, and to promote something, you inherently start to speak about like selling points, and it's from almost like a it's not like it's biased, but like you're sitting there talking about like all the good things, and it's not as authentic as something when you go out and experience it. I almost feel like a recap would be a better way to do it than up front. And I think you did do a recap. You started with one, and then you had an ending.
So you can see, I think I did a 3-part series, right? Because there's 27 holes there.
Which was an awesome series. Go check it out if you haven't.
The first one was like, hey, I'm John. I'm the Bumbling Golfer. I'm here at Shawnee in a golf resort.
Yep.
By the way, absolutely beautiful place.
I know.
JJ was amazing. I met him at the golf show up in New Jersey, in Edison, New Jersey, and I hope to get back there next year.
Mm-hmm.
But what's up, Kev? we're here at the Skramble House, and people are just walking in. Kevin here is like, he's the guy who keeps everything organized and together. So anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I was at Shawnee, like, shout out to them because it was great. But from the first one to the last one, it went from something that was not authentically me to something that was not something. It's just is what I want it to look like, right?
Yep.
And I think there's a lot of pressure on people who want to create like good content. But for me, I tried to create content that was inauthentic. It was not authentic to me.
Yeah.
And it felt weird. And I'm like, I wouldn't even watch this garbage that I'm putting out.
And you know, there's another side of that too, where it's like you want to have the best. Some people, like, I want to try to have the best production. So one of the things that I really like from watching your videos is that I can see what a local golf course looks like.
Yep.
I want to make
that seems to be the draw, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, like, and that's why you have such a good local presence, because people. So I wanted to make these videos called course views, but then as I started to think about it more, it's like, well, you need to have a longer shot because you can't just have one single shot. You need to be able to zoom in. So I got a camera that can zoom in farther. Then I'm like, well, now it's better to have a drone to fly over it. So now I'm sitting here saving up for a drone, but at the end of the day, is it really necessary to have those things?
Yeah, I don't think
is it really?
is.
You can, and you know what you do a really good job of is you create and create and create.
Yeah.
I get in my own way a lot of the time, and I'm learning, especially because of what you said about it's just to create, to document, that you don't need to be perfect. Nothing ever needs to be perfect, especially if you go out and capture around.
Yeah, you know why it doesn't have to be perfect? And if someone's going to talk shit or make assumptions or whatever the case may be, you're out there doing it, right? I equate that to when I ran a little bit back in like 2015, 16. I did the Broad Street run. I did a bunch of 5Ks, 10Ks. I did the Rocky run, which was pretty dope.
Those are wild.
But like my whole thing was, I would be running and there would be someone who was like crazy big, 400 pounds. And people are like, oh, look at them. I'm like, dude, they are outpacing me.
Yeah.
So like it getting back to like the content or whatever you want to do, like creating something, dude, the hardest part is starting.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's definitely starting.
Yeah.
And breaking the seal almost.
Yeah.
And then there's always going to be people, and it's funny that there's like people close to you sometimes who will like take jabs, and it could be like funny, but like at the same time, if they're not there supporting you as well when they're taking jabs, then you start to second guess yourself, like, should I really be out here whipping a camera out when people are saying stuff like that?
There's a ton of hate. I haven't gotten a ton of hate. I've had to block a few people. Like I had to block some guy on YouTube that was like an absolute racist. I don't even know what like
keyboard warriors are crazy.
Yeah, so,
shout out to Carter for talking about all the keyboard warriors and bringing them out. That's ridiculous.
But like through that process, people, like, I'm at a point now, and I'm 45, right? You're younger than I am.
Yeah.
But you, like, for me, I've gotten to a point where like I feel like nobody can hurt me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if someone's like, oh well, they're going to criticize my stuff. Guess what? I've learned that they're a watcher, right?
Exactly. Yep.
So they're helping me hit my goals.
Yep. Yeah, feeding the algorithm.
Exactly.
Yeah, and generally there's a sense of like they didn't do. If you're doing stuff too, you aren't going to be hating on anyone who's doing things as well.
Yeah.
Like anytime I see anyone doing anything, I love to support it.
Yeah.
Like 100%. I have a buddy who started a clothing company where he manufactures all the clothing, and I was his first customer.
Nice.
And I had another person who started a business, and I was their first customers. Like I love supporting people who do things. That's also why I love watching your content too. And any small you're the same type of dude because you love to support smaller companies.
That's it.
You're not the big. You don't go after the big brand name. And I think if anyone wants to question anything about like needing a big brand name, when you watch John hit these irons,
they're the Rams, dude. Ram.
Oh my god!
So it's funny because Ram used to be like it back in the day, right? And then it fell off because you have all these new sexier names, Callaway, Titleist, TaylorMade. Which, by the way, they make good product. They make great products. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm also a value guy, right? So I hit the Ram golf clubs, right? The Ram FX 77s.
Yeah,
they were $300 or $400 delivered to my door.
Yeah,
I hit the seed golf balls, which are
seed golf balls,
$25 a dozen. And by the way, Seamus, I gave Seamus 3 of them the other day. He said they were longer and better than any Pro V hits.
That's wild,
right? And it's I want to help golf be more accessible, right?
That's my goal too.
Yeah,
actually, if you see the hat, if you see the hat, golfish, it stands for golf is super hard. And I think part of the accessibility in golf is the understanding that it's super hard, and people may go into it thinking that it's something they can easily pick up because people make it look easy on television, but they get discouraged really easy. I know so many times there's people who go out and they try to hit a golf ball at Top Golf and they can't hit the ball, so they'll never touch a golf club again. When in reality, if they just spent a little bit of time trying to develop their swing and understanding that it's a hard game and then accepting it that way.
Where could they do that?
Skramble House.
Of course, right?
Yeah,
of
I mean,
course,
I didn't even need to think twice about that.
Right, but it's funny how we just like I think that's the mentality, right? I never took a lesson ever until I came here, and I was really averse to doing it. And I said to Justin, I said, look, man, I said, the only thing I don't want to change is my grip. And it's really because I overlap. I don't like kind of,
it's unique to do that these days.
But I had said to him, I was like, the only thing I don't want to do is change my grip. And he came over and he just twisted it. He didn't change the grip. He just said, this hand needs to go in further. And he goes, don't ever fucking move it from there and you'll be just fine. He goes, and we'll get the thing working out.
I grip the golf club differently every week. It's ridiculous. And I'm always trying to figure out how to grip it, but it always feels different.
So let me ask you a question about filming on golf courses, right? Because I did a podcast on this and you and I have talked about this a number of times.
Yeah.
I'll go out on the golf course and people will be like, oh, you're slowing down pace. You're this, you're that. And that's why I don't play in the morning.
Yeah.
Because you have all them people that go out and they're like, oh, I have to be home at a certain time. Like, dude, you shouldn't come out and play golf then. You know what I mean? Like, go play miniature golf if that's what you're playing 9 and be out.
Yeah. And rushing through around.
Yeah. Have you had any bad experiences with filming?
I haven't necessarily had bad experiences. I like to film at like Sweetwater a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm friends with the owner.
Yeah.
And there I actually meet people who are interested in it a lot of the time. And I think that I'm actually discouraged from filming at a lot of places because I sit there and I'm in the back of my head like I don't want to be holding things up, or I don't want to make it look like I'm holding things up. You and I know, and a lot of content or people who film themselves golfing, whoever, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, you can call it content creation.
We'll just say content creators for the sake of it, but like you learn how to become efficient.
Yeah.
You do. You set the camera up behind you, and it's almost like you don't even want to acknowledge that you're filming. You just put that thing behind you, and you are now normally golfing. So.
Yeah, I know it's no different to me than just taking an extra club and putting it on the ground because I just set it down, and sometimes I can just tell it to record, right? It doesn't work that great for me, but this is also the original version of this. So when I move to like the next one, you can just say, hey, record, and stop.
I got a question for you on that, though. Do you think it's the level of hierarchy at the golf course? Like, if I'm talking Squires, like, are you going to be able to pull out a camera at Squires? I'm going to play Scramble there, and I want to film every shot at the Scramble.
So what I've found, I don't think it matters for the club. Most clubs are okay with you doing it as long as you're not holding up pace. I will say this, if you want to film a scramble, it's the hardest thing to do.
I've done it, and that was the first video that I put on YouTube, and I did tracers for all of them, and it was my first time doing it, and it took me probably 4 or 5 months just to do it. Yeah. But it was fun to learn, and I'm probably not, like, I think it's actually cool to try to make different types of content too. Yeah. Like I now know how to do tracers in After Effects. I know how to sequence all the shots.
You just got to get on. When you get into this, just get Shot Tracer Pro, dude. You just push a button and it does it for you. It's amazing. I've had
issues with it sometimes because of like HD footage, but I don't know if like it's easier or something off of like literally the iPhone. I don't know what it is, but
you just have to do it on the computer and you're fine.
Okay.
Take all your files, put it on. I can take you through it. Yeah. I'll bring my laptop in one night. We'll just go through it.
Maybe, do you think that would be a good tutorial? How do you shot tracer?
You don't need one.
Do it as
you don't like. I'm telling you,
Ken, you YouTube short.
No, yeah, I mean it's you don't even need it. It's like I mean it could be 10 seconds.
Really?
You and I could. Well, I'll show you, and it's I could just do a screen share or whatever.
Yeah.
So you are. Like, you've done a lot of trick shot stuff, right? You've done a lot of different things and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So 2024, it's not over, right?
Yep.
But, like, summarize your 2024.
So 2024 for me was really about trying to, learn how to score better and try to start breaking into a single-digit handicap, which for me is like shooting more in the 70s. Mm-hmm. and just trying to get a more consistent feel. And I've done one of those things, and then the other has just been like, I don't the golden goose, something I'm always chasing.
Mm-hmm.
My consistency, I don't know what it is. I have a really weird swing. Yeah, as you see me more on YouTube.
Well, it's unconventional.
It's unconventional, but it's funny because in my brain, when I'm swinging right, I can feel every single part of the swing, and I can do things within my swing, like make it just barely fade, or make it just barely draw, throw it up high to the right, like hit it low into like a low draw.
Does your swing feel like it looks?
So I actually stand really far away from the ball, and for the most part, I've leaned over it. And just recently, after I had a session here where I hit like 200 perfect shots and then 70 straight shanks, I was just like, I'm sitting back and staying as far away from the ball as possible. I think it's funny that we're on a podcast right now because you told me to feel like I'm sitting on a chair more.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing now.
And get your ass down.
Get my ass down, dude. I'm doing that, and I'm swinging way better now. So when I talk about consistency on a simulator, that's also different than outdoors. But when you can be consistent on a simulator, it will definitely make you more consistent outdoors. But you always you have to have that the practice of both too.
Yeah.
But the other goal, being able to shoot in the 70s. I had my lowest score playing with John at Kimmerton. That was my first time playing there. Something about playing a course for the first time for me frees me up. Yeah. I play for what it is instead of playing where I think the ball needs to go. And I almost think that that's something to like think about for next year too, is like course strategy. And that's something that I've also worked on. I did the scoring plan with Justin.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you never got lessons. I actually got lessons from somebody who, I'll just put it this way, like they could not show me what they were telling me to do.
Yep.
And it made it so I couldn't really understand what I had to do or trust them that much. And
I gotcha.
Seeing Justin come up and hit not just the shot that I need to hit, doing it the way that he says to, but doing it like left-handed too.
Yeah.
Like the dude knows what he's doing. So it's just, it makes you more comfortable going to somebody like that.
So do you think you've accomplished your goals for 2024?
I had really loose goals, and I think I accomplished them. I think that my work here has, like, when I look back at my golf game last year, I was never able to get the ball speeds that I have, the compression that I have, the spin that I have, a lot of the stuff that I see in the numbers on average at the end of the season this year would blow me out of the water. I wasn't able to get a drive to go more than 250, 260 at the beginning, and now I'm hitting upwards of 300 on the range.
Okay, so. Nice. So, well, that's good, man. So that being said, what are your goals for 2025? Like, I feel like you need to write
goals.
them in stone.
No. So I have my goal is not necessarily a handicap. I'm gonna compete. I'm going to enter at least 3 competitions, whether it's through Grint. I want them to be outdoor competitions. I'm going to try to compete at Skramble.
You and I will talk more because there's some changes for me in 2025.
Okay.
And I think Grint is going to be, I think you and I should do that.
My buddy Michael Skurzat actually won a couple of the Grint tours, and he went from Eagle to Albatross and won twice or something like that. Like, it's insane. And he's a really good player. He's not like he has not gotten a lesson either. Yeah. And he's just, when he's hitting the ball good, he's hitting the ball good. But
nice.
So competing is one thing, and I've started to go to the gym every day. I did a goal of 75 days, and I hit the goal of 75 days. I'm going 77th day today, but it's like created this new philosophy in me about consistency, and I want to bring that into creating content. So I want to figure out a formula like I have for going to the gym, and try to make sure that I create content more efficiently. So trying to put out 1 video a week would be great, but I don't want to set the bar too high at first, knowing that I'm going to have to learn. However, I think it's a good thing sitting here right now saying and putting it on camera that 100%. I want to try to do a video a week.
Because guess what? Next year, I mean, look, I think put it in perspective, right? A video a week, first of all, you have to film enough for that, right? So I put all those goals out too. Yep. And I'm like, oh, I can do this, I can do that. Like, putting a video out, dude, it's like, so there's a bunch of, again, watching YouTube, like, and I'm not comparing myself to Mr. Beast whatsoever. Yeah. He's the biggest, best ever to do it. But for me, his whole premise is I'd rather put one out every month that's a banger than to put 30 of them out that are garbage.
Yep.
Or like not whatever. So again, you're going to figure out what works for you.
Yeah.
And you're going to figure out what works for the people that you're trying to reach.
So I think another thing to follow up is that you and I both are solo content creators. I think a lot of the time there's really good teams working with people. So somebody I'd like to call out is this dude, Ty Gets Better. He does all the editing for Tequila by the Turn.
Okay.
There, and that's Short Game King and Carol Priscilla, I think her last name is. But that's a really fast growing channel. Yeah. And that team right there is just, when you have a team of people who are dedicated to doing something, it makes it a lot more efficient. You can do a lot more and get more done quicker. So for people like you and I, the way that I see it is that you have to create formats that aren't necessarily going to take up that much bandwidth for you personally, but then you do still have to have those videos like going out where you have full shot tracers. I think there's a lot of opportunity with sim content. And another thing that I think I hesitate on throwing it out there, and you can decide whether to keep it in or not.
Okay.
Now, I think it would be interesting for us to do that on GS Pro. Because we have access to a lot of courses. Now, that I think with relevancy, there's a lot of opportunity with GS Pro now that they have it at the Skramble House. So there's a lot of courses on there compared to Foresight. And when there's different events happening, when they had the Open at Royal Lithium, that week at my house, I got a hole-in-one on hole 17.
Yep, I remember that. Yep.
And that was so cool that I was able to do it like that. I think that you want to have quality videos, but if you can create a cool story around something without it having to be the bandwidth, I agree. That's all I was going to say about that.
Yeah, so I have different. Yeah, so we could leave that in, right? It's not. Totally, I don't think it's crazy to think that way. But again, the thing is, like, you can throw an idea out there. No one's going to do it. You're going to do it, right? So and then you and maybe me and we get other people.
It'd be cool to have.
By the way,
work together.
Jake Hearn up in Lancaster. So he and I were going back and forth. So I told him, I was like, we're going to do a home and away. So what that home and away means is that we're going to do a 2-man better ball.
Love that.
It's going to be you and I.
Yep.
We're going to head up to Lancaster.
Yep.
We're going to go up there, check out their place, whatever, and then we're going to invite them here.
Love that.
Right? Well, maybe we'll do lunch or whatever up there, and we'll go play. And then we'll bring them here. We'll do some lunch here or whatever, and we'll just kind of do a comparison of, not like it's not a us versus them. It's like, hey, like they are also creators like we are, right?
Yeah.
So, and then we do that during the winter, and then we do that during the summer, right? So we can meet halfway. Maybe we meet at Wingcoat, or we go out to Royal Manchester where Jake works. And get on for $25, right?
Yeah, right.
So it's those kind of things right there. So I think collaboration, is going to be a big thing.
Absolutely, collaboration is key with what we're trying to do, and it's not just collaboration with other golf creators. I think people who are, if you have a drone, right? You need somebody to go out there and drone. Like I went out and followed Chris Drumheller. He had a Ryder Cup event, and I went out and filmed it myself. I went and filmed the opening ceremony. I went between the different groups. It's really fun going out. I almost like filming other people golfing more than I like filming myself.
Yeah.
If anyone out there wants to come and do something like come and help film, it's great experience, and you're gonna have a good time being out there capturing awesome moments. So you never know what's gonna happen.
I want to do a collaboration, but it would have to be. I feel like, and I know this is sorry, I was just checking for music. I heard something. But for me, like, I want to keep all of the creativity to myself, right? Yeah. But then I also want to be able to go out and collaborate. So if we could find, someone who's willing to, if you and I did a match and we had like a third party doing the recording, 100% in.
Yep.
I can't do it I've done it twice with Brian. I did it with Shane here one time. I've done it with some other people. It's really, really hard because you're hitting your ball, you're hitting their, you're watching them do theirs. Now, if you do like a 2-man scramble, 100% easy to do, but it's just a challenge.
I even think if you and I were to go out, I would just film you.
Yeah.
And if we had us film you for 9 holes and me for 9 holes, or I honestly would just go out and film you for 18 and be a B cam just to see, like, And I think that's an interesting test. Like,
we could
what's
try
the
that
difference
over the winter.
between a B cam and not having the B cam?
Yeah.
How much of a difference can it make with the content that you've been able to produce compared to if we actually had that?
For sure. It's
definitely interesting to think about that. And that's one of the big reasons why I have the cameras that I have. So one of those, the perfectionist thing, like I need to get these different types of shots. I have a 360 camera from skating, but then I got a long camera where you can zoom in really far, and that was really cool being able to sit up at the green on a drivable par 4 and zoom down, and you see him drive and then zoom out, and then it's perfect clarity right at the green.
So I went out and I got myself a really nice, I have a Lumix G85, I think it is.
Is that a drone?
No, it's a like a DSLR camera. It was like $800.
Does it do video?
It does, yeah, it's great. But like it's a big bulky thing, right? I use this tripod. I used it for some of the shots up at Shawnee. But like watching Anthony go out, and Anthony carries literally like it's like probably like a $5,000 or $6,000 camera. He just straps it around himself and hits a golf shot, goes take pictures and does his thing. But I have a drone, and we'll talk about that. We'll get that shit figured out at some point. Right?
I love drones, man.
But all right, so 2025 is going to be good for you.
Yeah, 2025 competitions and content. Okay. That's my two things right there.
So
what about for you?
So 2024, reach my goal.
That's dude. And I can see why after playing with you.
Dude, I grinded.
It's not even like you could go out and hit a bad shot, but like your scrambling is better and you make up for it. Like it doesn't bleed into extra holes is what I noticed is that you're able to pick it up a lot quicker than what
I mean, I listened to my swing coach. You know what I mean? I did. And I got lessons, the putting in here. And I came in here and just grinded out on this short game area, right?
Yep.
The putter's actually working now, which is great. Feels good. And then, so anyway, 2024 goals definitely accomplished. So my goal was to get to a single digit, right? I was a 13.5, 13.4. Yep. I got to a single digit. I got to like a 9.2. I was like, all right, this is great. And I just kept going. Now, like I'm a 7.8. My stretch goal was a 7 something. Mm-hmm. Got there. Mm-hmm. So goal for 2025, I think is pretty simple. I want to get to a 5 something. Right.
Yeah. You just gotta keep doing what you're doing.
It's going to be hard. 2025 other goals. You and I'll talk about that off camera because I'm going to do something that no one has ever done.
I love that.
It's like
I can smell. I got a big nose. I can kind of smell it.
No one's ever done it, and I may like I already texted you about it. I was like, yo, I think I want you to come do it. So talk about this filming content.
Yep.
We will figure out how we get this done, and I can do it on my own.
You want it collaborations, Keith?
This is going to be like a documentary style kind of.
Oh, I love that.
That's as far as I'm going to get.
Yeah. Don't tell them more.
But I'm also going to go. Like I plan on. So I'm getting married in a couple weeks. So
congratulations. Almost cursed, but congratulations.
So get married 3 Fridays from now, which is pretty awesome. And she's incredible, by the way, just fantastic. And hoping to get to I love Mexico. I love like Playa del Carmen.
Ooh,
so we're going to probably go there for like 4 or 5 days at some point in the new year. And I want to play down there. I want to film down there and have a good time. And so I would love to do that. So 2025, there's some big, like, there's going to be expensive stuff happening for me in 2025.
Yeah, to do something, it just costs money to do stuff, man. It really does. Yeah. Especially, like, you go and play a lot of different golf courses. Another reason why I generally haven't.
I'm paying $120 on Sunday to play Windcoat.
Yeah.
That's worth it.
It's worth it. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like,
better than paying $85 at Skip
It's
back.
a different experience, right? That extra, and what's the difference of quality for that extra $40 or whatever? It's a lot.
Yeah.
And it's part of having an experience in golfing.
Right.
This year, to me, has been a lot about, like, working out feels, and because of that, I've been going to Sweetwater a lot. It's a 9-hole municipal course. It's I also friends with the owner, Jeff, and I go out there and I fix pitch marks.
Yep.
He gives me a tool, and we've worked out a deal where I'm able to play there. For
I go to Jeffersonville as often as I can, but you can't get on there. Yeah. You can't get any tee. Remember, you and I went to Iron Valley because we couldn't get tee times around here.
Sweetwater, there's almost always a spot for me.
Yeah,
I can go out to a different hole. So For me, like next year, I also want to play different courses. I didn't really get out that much, and it's really just on me. Like,
bro, we're gonna go to Jack Frost. We'll go up to
all of those courses,
Pocono Manor, maybe something like that.
Yeah, I would love to.
And there's also, we'll talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it on here.
I love how much I think it's something it and not talking about it.
100%. Yeah, you know why? Because people will go do it. Yeah. You know, you talked about shit, and guess what? People go do it. I've talked about something, people go do it. Mm-hmm. And it's not about me being, I'm just like, my creativity shouldn't be spent on other people.
Totally. That's how I feel about work.
Bro, I feel like that about everything.
Well, I know, and I feel like we both do what we do because we need that outlet for creativity.
Yeah. But all right, man. Well, look, I appreciate it.
I got one last thing.
Yeah, bring it.
So, one thing here. Hold this real quick.
You're good. Go ahead. Just don't watch the headphones too. Oh yeah, this guy's a designer.
Yeah,
too.
So if you go on my YouTube, which will be linked in the bio, I guess, or the description.
It will be. Yep.
So there's a company called Lombardi. They're an awesome company, and I won a contest where I designed a putter, and it was built in real life. They're actually hosting another contest where you can design a putter, and it will be built in real life. And you will be able to get it along with a couple of other Lombardi models. I think that there's going to be an official announcement coming out soon about all the prizes, but it was a really cool process. There's a video on YouTube that documents it, and for the time being, to help get the word out about the contest, the design contest, and to sort of spread the word about Lombardi too.
Yeah.
If you share...
Yep.
And at least the YouTube link or post about this on Instagram, whatever it ends up being.
Here's what we'll do.
We gotta
go like and go follow Ken on Instagram.
Yep.
At KenHeGolf, KenHeGolf, and you will be able to be in the running for this Lombardi towel. It's actually very sweet. It's really nice, right? So here's what we'll do.
It's nice.
I'm going to say this. They have to go follow you, and then they have to tag me, the Bumbling Golfer, on any video, any one of your videos. What do you think about that?
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Either that.
So you have to follow Ken, and then or what do you think?
Either that, or I like anyone who comments on the. Is this going to be on YouTube?
Yeah, I don't get a whole lot of comments.
Well, maybe we can get some comments.
Maybe we can. Yeah, we can do that. So
we want to drive some comments on his YouTube channel.
So we'll mix that in, right?
Yeah. Honestly, if you do any of those things, you're already entered. And if you do all of them, multiple entries, I'm gonna look at everything and then compile any of the names that I see.
Yeah. So if you go to so do that on here, right? So if you're watching this on YouTube, comment below Lombardi towel or whatever. And Ken will look at that. He and I will look at that.
Yeah.
And then follow Ken on Instagram and just tag me and just do at the bumbling golfer, and we'll figure that out.
That was like a bumbling way to say the bumbling golfer.
Yeah. Well, I almost said the bumbling Yeti. That's you know how many times I've had to edit that out of my videos.
That's funny.
So anyway, shout out to Lombardi. That I know Ken and Paul are like super tight.
Yep, he's a good guy.
He's a good dude.
Yeah, and they have custom putters, too, that you would get cheaper. That's like another thing making golf more accessible. Yep. That's like one of the reasons why I want to make sure. You can get custom putters, your own grip, a bunch of different grip options, your own shaft, graphite, different weights, a lot of different heads to choose from, and some really cool ones coming out in 2025. Yeah. Cheaper than you would get an Odyssey off the shelf that's not personalized to you. There's a lot of customization options, too, so... definitely, if you go over there onto the Instagram, start commenting on some stuff, we'll make sure we follow you, and also
100%.
It's just good to get involved with that community.
All right, good deal. So be sure to follow Ken at KenHeGolf. I've said it a bunch of times. KenHeGolf. Make sure to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Go check Ken's out as well. He's starting to really. He only has a few videos, but it's going to start popping off pretty quickly.
Yep.
The other thing is, shout out to Acorn Hills again. I'm not wearing any gear. Shout out to Tim, my man, Tim Wilson, Willie's Wagyu right here.
That's checking that out. Checking that out, man.
Yo,
I got hungry.
Tim is the best. He's the best. He's out in Indiana. He and I met over social media, and we become really great friends.
Isn't that awesome?
It is.
That's the one thing. So like YouTube's great. Was it on Instagram that you met, or YouTube?
He and I were on Instagram. We met because of a guy who we listened to his music.
Oh wow!
Then he picked me up in his plane. That's the one. So I have a video on one of my other YouTube channels.
No way.
He picked me up in his plane. He flew from West Virginia, or like just southern Pennsylvania, right on the border. He picked me up at Chester County Airport. Dude, we flew to Athens, Georgia to watch Joe Fortner and Ryan Nelson play at the 40 watt. And then the next day we flew back, dude. It was
my mom used to be a pilot. Like when people can fly
that's
planes,
awesome.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's
cool.
just absurd.
Nice. So
that's absurd.
Again, episode 16 here, the Bumbling Golfer podcast. My man Ken. We're here at the Skramble House. Shout out to Justin. By the way, Justin's in the Rock this weekend. I called him earlier. We were going to use Scramble Studios, but we figured there wasn't a lot of people. It's beautiful weather here right now. Yeah. And it's still like Friday night lights for all the high school football players, and all the parents are out and all that. So we figured we'd do this a little bit different. But
it's a good view.
Shout out to everyone there. And Ken, I appreciate it, brother. I'm looking forward to a really good winter. Yeah, man, really good winter of us getting better.
Yeah,
and then going out and competing next year.
Absolutely.
And
I'm excited for that.
We may have to have a conversation immediately following this about some of the plans.
All right.
I might have to get you on a confidentiality agreement.
All right.
This is big, dude.
Well, I'll grab a pen. I got a pen in my bag. I can sign any papers.
All right, no, we're all good. All right. Also, shout out to the Golfer Gang Network. You can find this podcast on there, and you can find a bunch of other ones too. A bunch of really good people out there creating podcasts. Again, what you get here is exactly this. I don't talk pro golf. I don't do any of that stuff. I talk about real people like Ken and I who like to go out, play golf, have a good time, maybe make some content or not, or you just meet someone. So anyway, thank you, everyone. Go hit some hosel rockets into the woods. Thank you.
And some pure shots, too.
Pure shots into the water. How about that?
I'll take it. I'll take it. As long as it's pure and it felt good.
Perfect. All right, man. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me on.
Yep.